Namaste and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar, Trade Turbulence, Navigating US Tariff and Export Challenges. Uh, Before we start, we would like to thank all of you to take time out and join this webinar. Before we start, I would like to highlight on a couple of aspects. India, the fourth largest economy, has emerged as fastest growing economy and is on track to become third largest with projected GDP of $7.3 trillion by 2030. रिसेंटली एक रिनाउंड इकोनॉमिस्ट थे जिन्होंने कौटिल्य इकोनॉमिक कॉन्क्लेव में ये कहा, मिस्टर जगदीश भगवती, उन्होंने कहा कि इन ओल्डर डेज वर्ल्ड बैंक यूज्ड टू टेल अस व्हाट टू डू, व्हाट नॉट टू डू, एंड नाउ वी टेल द वर्ल्ड बैंक व्हाट टू डू. The statement is so powerful. It is a reflection of India's shift from dependent to globally competitive powerhouse in last 1.5 decades. जर्नी इजी थी ऐसा कहना सही नहीं होगा. जर्नी आप लोगों के बिना पॉसिबल नहीं थी, एक्सपोर्टर्स के बिना पॉसिबल नहीं थी. काउंटलेस एक्सपोर्टर्स, इंडिविजुअल्स, micro businesses or large corporates, they have made it possible across service, software, and goods segments. Particularly, if we talk about the enablers, there has been a great enabler. In last 11 years, we have seen a lot of initiatives that have been taken under Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme or program to aid the businesses, make businesses simplify. With the population of 145 crore, the ambition of the country is much higher. Just becoming third largest economy would not be a cakewalk. It will be difficult and it will be challenged by various barriers at different times. With this, I'm delighted to have Mr. Ravi Chopra from Parshottam and Associate, who brings deep expertise in trade, compliance, tax advisory. With years of experience guiding exporters, he will share practical insights on navigating this challenging landscape. Welcome, Ravi ji. Welcome to this session. Yeah.
Thank you, Nidhaji. Thank you so much.
So without wasting a lot of time, we'll get into the core of this webinar. In August 2025, this month itself, escalating tensions crystallized through two severe US tariff hikes on India exports. Initially, a 25% reciprocal levy effective 7th August, followed by an additional 25% punitive tariff on August 27th. Over India contributed particularly resulting due to the import of Russian oil, bringing total duties to 50%. These sharp increases have rocked India's export-driven sectors, textile, gems and jewelry, seafood, furniture, chemical, auto components, home textile, effectively threatening our competitiveness, slashing shipments, and impacting cash flows and jobs across key industrial hubs. In today's webinar, we'll connect the dots to solve for the future of Indian growth business sectors, how the current tariffs are impacting businesses, what could be potential ways to ensure continuity of businesses with US, which are the incremental corridors of growth, and how can businesses de-risk themselves from this, and future trade barriers. What are the critical aspects of businesses in newer geography? So Ravi, we crossed the date 27th August. Today we are on 28th, and newer tariffs have kicked in. There are businesses who have orders and facing the challenges in terms of shipments. There are businesses who are still deciding what to do, what not to do. Would you like to throw some light on what are the key challenges that businesses should be aware of, or what has changed recently?
थैंक यू इंदु जी. सबसे पहले तो जब मैंने टॉपिक सुना टर्बुलेंस, राइट, मुझे याद आ गया जब हम एयरक्राफ्ट में होते हैं और कैप्टन बोलता है जी यात्री कृपया ध्यान दें, हम टर्बुलेंस से गुजर रहे हैं, कुर्सी की पेटी बांध लीजिए, धैर्य रखें, हम जल्दी सुरक्षित पहुंच जाएंगे. ये सिनेरियो कुछ सिमिलर है आज के एक्सपोर्टर्स के लिए. ऑल्दो कुछ चीजें होती है जो हम कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं, कुछ नहीं कर सकते. टैरिफ एक ऐसा इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है जिसे हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. वी हैव टू लिव विद इट एंड वी हैव टू डील विद पेशेंस. हमें सारे सेफ गार्ड रखने चाहिए जो एक टाइम पे पेशेंस हमें चाहिए, राइट. स्टार्टिंग विद अभी जो रिसेंट चेंजेस हुए हैं, आई लाइक टू टच अपॉन वन बाय वन। सबसे पहले तो एक सबसे बड़ा चेंज क्या आया है, डी मिनिमिस का। अगर डी मिनिमिस का मतलब समझे, मतलब क्या होता है डी मिनिमिस का, कि इतना छोटा जो चीज आप इग्नोर कर पाए।
हम्म।
तो यूएस में क्या था कि कुछ एक वैल्यू के नीचे ड्यूटी फ्री गुड्स की एंट्री अलाउड थी। उसमें सिंप्लीफाइड कस्टम क्लियरेंसेस थे।
हम्म।
तो $800 की वो एक अमाउंट थी, जिसके नीचे से जब गुड्स जाते थे तो ड्यूटी फ्री जाते थे, और उसमें कंप्लायंस इतनी हुआ नहीं करती थी। अब रिसेंटली यूएस गवर्नमेंट ने ये देखा कि इस चीज का बहुत फायदा उठाया जा रहा है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कुछ कंट्रीज के ई कॉमर्स प्लेयर हैं, उनका नाम शीन एंड टेमू है, राइट। वो बहुत ज्यादा यूज कर रहे थे टू देयर बेनिफिट। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज $850 की आइटम है, आप 750 की बेचोगे, आपको टैरिफ वो नहीं लगेगा, राइट।
हम्म।
प्लस वो स्क्रूटनाइज भी नहीं होती थी कि क्या आइटम जा रही है, कैसे है, राइट। सेकेंडली, यूएस गवर्नमेंट ने देखा कि उन्हें टैरिफ का बहुत नुकसान हो रहा है, कि $800 से नीचे वाली इतनी ज्यादा शिपमेंट्स हैं, उसका जो एक फाइनेंशियल इम्पैक्ट है वो बहुत ज्यादा है। थर्डली, सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स, मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली, कुछ ड्रग्स या कुछ काउंटरफीट्स यूएस में एंटर हो रहे थे अंडर दैट डी थिंग। तो टू कीप अ चेक ऑन द सेम, यूएस गवर्नमेंट ने डे मिनिमिस का क्लॉज लेके आए। इससे अब
हम्म।
क्या हुआ है कि इवन छोटी शिपमेंट्स में भी कंप्लायंस होनी है। जब ये डी मिनिमिस वाला आया, मुझे कोई सेलर्स का आया कि सर हमारा प्रोडक्ट एफडीए रजिस्टर्ड नहीं, अप्रूव नहीं है, तो हमें करवाना पड़ेगा। मैं कि यस, ऑब्वियसली नाउ यू हैव टू। तो डी मिनिमिस स्टार्ट कब हुआ था? चाइना और हांगकांग के लिए 2 अप्रैल को अनाउंसमेंट आई थी कि 2 मई से इफेक्टिव हो जाएगा डी मिनिमिस क्लॉज। अब बाकी कंट्रीज के लिए कल से इफेक्टिव होगा। हमें ये ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, देयर आर टू थिंग्स, डी मिनिमिस एंड टैरिफ वाला। टैरिफ वाला 27 अगस्त का डेट है,
हम्म।
वो निकल चुका है। डी मिनिमिस कल से शुरू हो जाएगा, इररिगार्डलेस ऑफ वैल्यू ऑफ शिपमेंट्स, सभी पे कंप्लायंस लगेगी हमारी।
हम्म।
अब मैं सेकंड पॉइंट में, टैरिफ का। टैरिफ पे पहले 25% था, 50% है। एंड टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, इट हैज हिट इंडियन एक्सपोर्टर्स वेरी हैविली। फॉर
हम्म।
एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं बात करूं टेक्सटाइल्स की, गारमेंट्स की, जेम ज्वेलरीज की, लेदर गुड्स की, सी फूड की, ऑटोमोबाइल एंड इंजीनियरिंग गुड्स, ये एक बैकबोन हुआ करते थे इंडियन एक्सपोर्ट्स टू यूएस। अब
करेक्ट।
इन पे जब टैरिफ ज्यादा बढ़ेगा, ऑब्वियसली दो चीजें होंगी। या तो जो एक्सपोर्टर है वो नुकसान झेलेगा, या
हम्म।
वो अपने प्राइस में एड ऑन करेगा टैरिफ का इम्पैक्ट, जिससे एंड कंज्यूमर के लिए दिक्कत आएगी। बट यहाँ पे इंडियन एक्सपोर्टर्स को नुकसान कहाँ पे है, कि जो उनके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग कॉम्पिटिटर्स हैं दूसरे कंट्रीज में, जो एक लेसर टैरिफ का बेनिफिट है उनको, उनका प्राइस चीपर होगा इनसे, इन केस दे डोंट कंज्यूम द टैरिफ इन देयर कॉस्ट, राइट। अपने प्राइस कम करें, तभी दे कैन compete। बट इसमें कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे हैं जिन पे अभी टैरिफ नहीं बढ़ा है। फार्मास्यूटिकल्स, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स जैसे स्मार्टफोन, कंप्यूटर चिप्स, टैबलेट्स, पैसेंजर व्हीकल्स। तो ये ऐसे कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जिनमें अभी टैरिफ नहीं बढ़ा है हमारा। सो
हम्म।
ये हैं कुछ की चेंजेस जो अभी रिसेंट में आए हैं। एंड जैसे सर आपने बात की कैश फ्लो मैनेजमेंट की, तो आज के टाइम में कैश फ्लो मैनेजमेंट बहुत जरूरी हो गया। रीजन बीइंग क्या है, टैरिफ बढ़ने से मेरी कॉस्ट बढ़ी है, और जितनी मेरी इन्वेंट्री वहां पड़ी है, मेरी एक तरह से वो कैपिटल ब्लॉकेज हो जाती है। तो सबसे पहला चीज जो एक्सपोर्टर को ध्यान रखनी है आज के डेट में, कि वो अपनी इन्वेंट्री लेवल को ऑप्टिमाइज करके चले। ऐसा ना हो दे हैव अ लॉट ऑफ इन्वेंट्री पाइल्ड अप ओवर देयर, जिनसे उनका वर्किंग कैपिटल ब्लॉक हो जाए। सेकंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज डिमांड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट। वो देखें कि उनके प्रोडक्ट की डिमांड कैसी है, एंड कुछ सीजन स्पेसिफिक कंजम्पशन है। फॉर एग्जांपल, जब फेस्टिव सीजन होते हैं तो इन्वेंट्री ज्यादा चाहिए होती है, राइट। फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर इंडियंस रह रहे हैं यूएसए में, यूके में, वी आर सेलिंग एथनिक क्लोथिंग, राइट। तो हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि किस प्रोडक्ट की कब डिमांड है, ताकि हम अपना कैश फ्लो मैनेज कर पाए।
हम्म।
तीसरी चीज एक्सपोर्टर्स कैन डू इज वर्किंग कैपिटल लोन्स लें, या बैंक से रिलैक्सेशन लें। बिकॉज आज की न्यूज़पेपर में ही एक सजेशन ये था कि आरबीआई विल हैव अ मीटिंग इन सितंबर, टू टैकल दोज मैटर्स। एंड उसमें उम्मीद है एक्सपोर्टर्स के लिए कुछ रिलैक्सेशन आएगी, आइदर इन शेप ऑफ इंटरेस्ट मोरेटोरियम और सम रिलैक्स रेट्स। वो अभी पता नहीं है क्या होगा, बट आरबीआई इज वर्किंग ऑन इट एंड नेक्स्ट मंथ उसकी मीटिंग होगी जिससे ये हो। और अगर मैं नेक्स्ट प्लान ऑफ एक्शन मानूं कि एक्सपोर्टर्स के लिए क्या प्लान ऑफ एक्शन होना चाहिए, कि यूएस के अलावा भी बहुत सी मार्केट्स हैं। हम जब सेशन प्रोसीड करेंगे हम डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे कि कौन सी कंट्री में क्या प्रोडक्ट बिकता है और कौन से ऐसे मार्केट प्लेसेस हैं जो आपको हेल्प कर सकते हैं टू ग्रो। बिकॉज अगर आप वहां पे एंटिटी बनाने जाएंगे इट विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ कॉस्ट एंड हेसल्स, राइट। जब आप मार्केट प्लेस पे ई कॉमर्स करते हैं ऑब्वियसली आपको एंटिटी नहीं बनानी पड़ती कुछ कंट्रीज को छोड़ के, इट बिकम्स वेरी इजी। तो विल डिस्कस कि किस कंट्री में किस चीज का क्या स्कोप है, ताकि आप यूएस के अलावा भी अपने ऑप्शंस देखिए। सर प्लीज ओवर टू यू।
Thanks, Raviji. And couple of attendees have mentioned to stick to English. So, for benefit of everyone, we'll try to keep it multilingual. Hope that addresses your concern, Anand. And going on to this webinar, see, we see multiple businesses, particularly different models. कुछ B2B businesses हैं, some are D2C and either selling through their website और या तो वो marketplace पे sell कर रहे हैं. How do you see the impact while we talk about de minimis going away, on the other hand, tariffs? So how do you see B2B businesses are impacted and how the marketplace sales are impacted? As you said, I and please challenge my thoughts and opinion. I believe that de minimis going away is going to impact mostly marketplace sellers. And in B2B, again, alternate routes will be taken or identified by the businesses. So, how do you see that? What is your view on that?
सर राइटली पॉइंटेड, कहते हैं ना ओनली द वेयर नो वेयर द शू पिंचेस। सो हमारे काफी सेलर्स हैं, हम अमेजोन के लिए काम करते हैं, बाकी मार्केट प्लेस पे काम करते हैं। तो मैनी ऑफ सेलर्स वर लिविंग ऑन एमएफएन। एमएफएन क्या होता है कि जब आप किसी मार्केट प्लेस पे गुड्स लिस्ट कर देते हैं और आप शिप इंडिया से ही कर रहे हैं, दैट इज कॉल्ड एमएफएन, कि आप मर्चेंट फुलफिल नेटवर्क में जाते हैं। तो एमएफएन में ना कुछ सेलर्स काफी अच्छा कमा रहे थे। अब एमएफएन में क्यों कमा रहे थे, रीजन भी क्या होता है, जब आप बड़ी शिपमेंट भेजते हैं,
Mm-hmm.
सपोज आपने किसी वेयर हाउस में भेजी किसी मार्केट प्लेस के, तो वो $800 से ऊपर होगी, राइट। उस पे तो आपके कस्टम ड्यूटीज वगैरह लग जाते थे। जब ये एमएफएन भेजते थे, $800 से नीचे की शिपमेंट होती थी, उस पे टैरिफ नहीं था, कस्टम ड्यूटी नहीं लगती थी, तो ऑब्वियसली उन्हें काफी मार्जिन मिल जाता था। सबसे बड़ी हिट लगी है एमएफएन में।
Mm-hmm.
तो एमएफएन आर द मोस्ट हिट। इफ आई टॉक अबाउट बी टू बी और बी टू सी, देन बी टू बी पे कुछ इम्पैक्ट, कुछ हद तक इम्पैक्ट कम है। उसका एक रीजन क्या है, जो अल्टीमेट सेलिंग प्राइस है, जब इंडिया से आप डी टू सी या बी टू सी करते हैं, आपको उस वैल्यू पे एंटर करना पड़ता है प्रोडक्ट, अनलेस आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरशिप मॉडल में हैं या आप अपनी एंटिटी को बेच रहे हैं वहां पे। तो आपकी जो टैरिफ लगेगा वो ज्यादा वैल्यू पे लगेगा। अगर मैं एक सिंपल एग्जांपल दूं कि आपका लिस्ट प्राइस है वहां पे $500, आप अगर बेचते हैं किसी को, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को, आप $250-300 की बेचेंगे, बट जब अगर आप खुद बेचते हैं तो आपको 400 से $500 के बीच भेजना पड़ता है सामान। तो
Right.
आप देखिए 250 से 400 पे जो टैरिफ का इम्पैक्ट है वो बच जाता है अगर आप बी टू बी या डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरशिप मॉडल में जाते हैं। तो
Mm-hmm.
एक वे है कि जैसे आपने ऑल्टरनेट चैनल की बात की, जिसने अगर यूएस में ही भेजना है तो उसके लिए बेटर है डिस्ट्रीब्यूटरशिप मॉडल में, या आपने एक एंटिटी बनाए, बिकॉज मेनी ऑफ सेलर्स हैव ऑलरेडी सेट अप यूएस एंटिटी, जिसके बेसिस पे दे आर एबल टू समवट टैकल द टैरिफ इशू, अपनी कॉस्ट बचा पाए हैं। एंड यूएस एंटिटी बनाने के और भी बेनिफिट्स हैं, आपको आईओआर नहीं लेना पड़ता, राइट। यू डोंट डिपेंड ऑन थर्ड पार्टी फॉर आईओआर, यू सेल्फ बिकम्स एन आईओआर बिकॉज आपकी एंटिटी वहां पे है। तो देयर
Right.
लॉट ऑफ बेनिफिट्स। ये छोटे छोटे बेनिफिट्स आपकी काफी हद तक कॉस्ट रिड्यूस करेंगे, एंड वी कैन हेल्प यू इन दैट कि कैसे आप ये कर सकते हैं।
Understood. Thanks, Raviji, for this feedback on this B2C and D2C model and how businesses are getting impacted, what they can do. We also heard about recent suspensions. Again, this is something definitive answer is not available with you, not available with me. So we are a cross-border payments company, and we serve thousands of exporters who are selling on Amazon or are doing B2B contracts or selling through D2C. So we are part of multiple groups, and this is something we heard that there have been suspension of US shipments. Some of the private companies, while they have not notified, but they have continued to, they are continuing to reject the acceptance of these orders. Second, we heard in the news that India Post has suspended the shipments to US. Uh, are you aware of such challenges as of now? While we believe that there could be some ways or manners in which shipments can be done, uh, what is your thought on that? This is gonna continue, or this is just the negotiation tactics between two countries? Like India is saying that okay, you have put tariffs on us, and we will not ship anything.
So, as far as official news, if I say for India Post, yes, I do believe there has been a notification where they have suspended commercial shipments since August 25. This has basically arisen due to complexity of rules. You can say to calculate exact amount of duty is cumbersome because there are a lot of shipments, and there, as you said, some shipping companies have stopped that. I don't have any official confirmation from any shipping company that has stopped yet, but I foresee that there will be some slowdown in shipments.
Mm-hmm.
The main reason is the increase in tariff, and second is the accumulation of products globally that have reached US custom. There will be delays,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I expect, yeah, there will be some or the other issue with the shipment sooner or later until we have a clarity. And the second part you mentioned about like how long it will see, we don't know how US will respond to what it is. What I foresee is for many of items that are shipped from India to US, there will be a drop. And whatsoever is the need of US citizens over there, if the demand is high and supply is low, the prices will increase. There will be a lot of inflation over there. So I expect you can say resolution within a few weeks. Rest, I can't say that like when it will happen.
No, this is
So I
very helpful.
foresee,
Yeah.
I foresee many things since India is a labor intensive market, handicrafts, rugs and carpets, textiles, right? So the quality of Indian products along with this Ayurvedic products, right? These
Mm-hmm.
are being lot in huge demand right now, right? So US, I feel, is somewhat dependent on India in those sectors. So in those sectors, I see there will be a bit relief. So expecting a positive feedback soon from both of countries.
Thanks, Ravi. You have highlighted a critical point, and this is something all our exporter friends should also understand. The suspension is most likely not reflection that we are not gonna ship to US. या फिर ऐसा भी नहीं है कि कोई government order or some arm twisting is going on. Technically, tariff computation at logistics companies end is one of the critical aspect. Technology has to adjust, and the pace at which newer tariffs or newer penalties are being imposed, say 25%, फिर 25%, कल को अगर कुछ नया impose किया जाएगा, then it becomes difficult for logistics companies also to calculate it exactly. Couple of use cases that we mentioned that through FedEx, one of the shipment had gone to US, and after the delivery is done, that there is a bill which is raised from FedEx to the exporter for 2500 rupee. This is something we heard from this exporter only. On the other hand, while these suspension news were coming up, we also heard from one of the senior official from Aramex that they are continuing to accept the US shipment. So this is just for the information of all the attendees that which channels are available, which channels are not available. So while we heard many are suspending, uh, maybe because of duty computation, stay in close touch with your logistics partner. On the other hand, we heard that RMX is still accepting, so you may touch base with these players who are actually shipping the goods. My next question is related to this only, Ravi. We do understand that trade wars are not usually beneficial for both the countries. You mentioned कि eventually क्या होगा? Goods are not being shipped to US, demand बढ़ेगी, shortage होगा, prices will go up. But at the same time, if both the governments are not ready to budge, and eventually consumers and sellers are, getting twisted in this whole tension. There are industries who are completely dependent on Indian goods, uh, wherein the US remains one of the major market. 70% of e-commerce sales, close to out of 10 to 15 billion dollars of e-commerce sales, or maybe webcom or marketplace sales, say from eBay, Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, goes to US, and remaining 30% is only in other country. So with those statistics in mind, and knowing that there are some industries which have majority market, say 80 to 90% sale happens in US only, what is your advice to these guys? How can they move ahead, ensure that they de-risk their businesses from these trade wars? Is there an alternate channel available? Can they go overseas, do something else? What is the potential way for them, because they
So,
have to sell to US? वो
yes.
और क्या करेंगे?
So, see, one solution that I foresee that overrides any, you can say, critical issue is you start selling a product that has a good margin.
हम्म।
So, this is the best part. अगर आप लो मार्जिन प्रोडक्ट्स यूएस में कर रहे हैं तो देयर इज नो स्कोप, कीपिंग इन माइंड जो ट्रेड टेंशंस चल रही हैं, तो यू नीड टू टेक मेक श्योर दैट यू आर सेलिंग अ गुड मार्जिन प्रोडक्ट. What you can do is reduce your other costs.
हम्म।
For example, I gave you an example of setting up a US LLC. What it can help you in it is you will be able to import goods into US at a slightly lesser price because obviously the LLC has to earn something. Secondly, you are saving on IR cost, right?
हम्म।
And what alternate can be done is you can also set up entity overseas to any other country. For example, these days Dubai is one of the hotspots, right? People are setting up entity over there because the corporate tax is very less, right? 9% corporate tax is there.
Correct.
And also, if you are able to shift your manufacturing facility to another country where their tariff is less, this can be one of the second option which you can do is, see, I when this tariff was announced, I got a call, sir मैंने सिंगापुर में एंटिटी बनानी है, गुड्स इंडिया से या किसी और कंट्री से जाएंगे, वहां से यूएस ले जाएंगे, हो जाएगा ना? मैं कहा नहीं.
हम्म।
ऑब्वियसली एक चीज का वन थिंग नीड्स टू बी टेकन केयर इज कंट्री ऑफ ओरिजिन.
राइट।
ये नहीं है कि आप यू आर जस्ट डूइंग द पैकेजिंग पार्ट, पीछे से सब कुछ दूसरी कंट्री का है. इट वोंट डू बिकॉज सम ऑफ सेलर हैड द मिथ कि बाय चेंजिंग द कंट्री ऑफ शिपमेंट you will
हम्म।
be able to take benefit of tariff. No, it cannot happen. So you have to shift your manufacturing setup. You can make a foreign entity to avoid other costs so that you become competitive. So these
हम्म।
are the things, if we are dependent upon US market, these things you should be doing.
Understood. So, couple of takeaways from this response that I understand. One, a US LLC company setting up will help that importer on record can be avoided, because lot of exporters, they today tie up with one or other company which acts as importer on record, and they take their margins. So margin protection remains the key. So you may evaluate, of course, setting up an entity, but again, setting up entity and the running cost is something that an exporter has to evaluate, which is beneficial. Second, evaluate Dubai as one of the geography, or setting up a manufacturing unit outside. While I believe setting up manufacturing unit outside is uh, more of an action item for large corporates, because setup takes time. It takes 6 to 12 months. In this case, again, is there a definitive answer or some examples which you can highlight? Because if the manufacturing unit is set up in a 6 to 12 months time, because there are issues related to land acquisition overseas or factory or licenses and other thing, should an exporter of micro and small size evaluate these things today? Because हो सकता है कल को tariff हट जाए. So do you think that would be a wise step, or they should just wait?
So for small and medium sellers, obviously, they should wait because setting up an entity overseas manufacturing involves a lot of capex, right?
Hmm, hmm,
So many companies, when they see setting up entity abroad, they see whether natural resources are available there or not, whether there be cost, wages will be less or not, right? So
hmm,
there
hmm.
are many factors. For small and medium seller, I'll say that they should not be opting for that. They should be opting for that, reducing the cost overall, right? And providing a high margin product to navigate all these issues.
Understood. So as you rightly highlighted, while I'll split it into two parts. One is the trading segment. Second is the manufacturing segment. See, trading segment historically has been operating on the areas of efficiencies. Say they are able to buy something at a much cheaper rate or better rate, and they have identified a global market where they can sell at a higher margin. So if these margins are going away, they need to find better geographies. On the other hand, manufacturing's core is that they can manufacture goods and they have a certain margin. So if they are directly into distribution, they may look at setting up manufacturing overseas and find their effective distribution ways. And my next question is linked to this only. Like we spoke about, the industries which have high consumption in US or high demand in US, but they do not have demand in overseas geography. So this is how trade and manufacturing can distribute. But industries, which has demand everywhere, and particularly on Amazon, we have seen a lot of sellers that who are only listed on Amazon US or just Amazon UK. What could be the advice to them wherein the goods or services that they are offering uh, can be sold globally? So what can be done for them? What could be the advice to them?
Yeah, this is a spot on remedy to the tariff part. So I believe when one door closes, God opens another door. So it is like that only. And I would like to highlight one point that I personally feel that UK FTA, if you have heard about, UK FTA has come at a very right time.
Mhm.
It has opened a lot of opportunities for Indian sellers to have a presence in UK, enable effective trade over UK. एक तरफ यूएस ने टैरिफ बढ़ाए हैं, दूसरे यूके ने टैरिफ घटाए हैं.
Mhm.
ऑब्वियसली अभी ये इफेक्टिव नहीं हुआ है. इट विल टेक सर्टनली 7 to 8 months. बट लेट मी जस्ट एक्सप्लेन कि हाउ यूके एफटीए कैन बी प्ले अ क्रूशियल रोल हियर. See, currently the tariffs in UK will be there, custom duties apply as such, right? So what you can do is you can start exploring UK and European market through these platforms like Amazon, Etsy, etc. Right? Whatever the platform is selling over there, you have customers buying that product, creating that demand, and once this FTA gets affected too, you will have an increased profits with the same sale price because ultimately your cost will go down the custom part and other part. So UK FTA has come at a right time. So this can be seen. Apart from UK, if you see European Union as a whole, so the GDP of EU is roughly 18.35 trillion. If you see UK, it is roughly 3.6 trillion.
Mhm.
If you see another countries like Australia, it's roughly 1.75 trillion. UAE, a point 0.5 trillion. So these are other countries where the scope of market expansion is good.
Hmm.
For example, if I say about marketplaces that are available in UK, Amazon is there, eBay is there, it says there. If I
Right.
talk about Europe, Amazon, eBay, Zalando, Allegro, Bol.com, right? Australia, and UAE both have Amazon. In UAE, you have Noon also, Namshi also. So if I see major products that are being traded over there on those markets are apparels, electronic items,
Mhm.
ब्यूटी एंड पर्सनल केयर. ये सभी वो आइटम्स हैं जो यूएस में सबसे ज्यादा बिक रही हैं. सो
Understood.
आपको क्या करना है बेसिकली, यू हैव टू शिफ्ट सम ऑफ द गुड्स टू these countries, यहाँ पे if you see the purchasing power is also high. If we say ना USA dollar is 80 to 90, GBP is even more than that, right? So I what I've seen is recently what has happened is one of my sellers they ship Rakhi to UK.
Mm-hmm.
तकरीबन 150 रुपीज का राखी वहां पे 1500 1600 रुपए का बिका है, फाइव फाइव का सेट, राइट?
Mm-hmm.
सो यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई which products can be shipped when to which marketplace. See, a lot of Indians are settled abroad. Not only US is there, UAE there are a lot of Indian citizens, UK there are a lot of Indian citizens. आपके जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, आई डोंट से कि ओनली इंडियन ओरिजिन को ही लगेंगे, बट टॉकिंग अबाउट आयुर्वेदिक प्रोडक्ट्स, उनकी डिमांड जो बढ़ी है रिसेंट टाइम्स में,
Mm-hmm.
talking about supplements, talking about textile, everything. So there is no end to demand. ये नहीं कह सकते US is the only door that we have to knock. There are many other doors that are waiting to be knocked. And marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart, Walmart is for US, UK, eBay, Namshi, Noon, these can help you set a platform over there to establish your brand over there. Sooner or later you can obviously, if you see there is lot of potential, you can obviously set up entity over there, do your own business and enjoy the margins.
Understood. That is very helpful, Ravi. And as you rightly highlighted, we need to look at the newer geography, and these marketplaces are available. And within APAC also, there was a news also recently that couple of entry points for trade route between India and China are also open. So China has also allowed export of some of the electronic items which are going from India. Similarly, some of the wellness items and all. So within Asia itself, we have multiple corridors: Japan, Korea, Australia. Though their economy or GDP sounds small, but there is a demand. But just because it has not been evaluated, I remember having conversation with one of the Amazon representative, Amazon Global Selling team, and he was mentioning that Amazon has been very aggressive on Australia as a corridor for last 2 to 3 years, and that has picked up well. So exporters can evaluate that particular corridor. At the same time, it's the other platforms that you mentioned about. These are available, and exporters should evaluate it. Going to the next piece, since you talked about selling to other geographies, majority of the exporters who are stuck to US sales, be it Etsy, eBay, or Walmart or Amazon, they are aware of the compliances related to US. If they go to a newer geography, and since you come from this tax compliance, FEMA compliance background, which are some of the areas that exporters should be aware of in terms of maybe tax compliances, FEMA compliances, and what are the some of the common pitfalls from which, as in about which businesses should be aware of or stay away from?
Got it. So if I talk about basic knowledge about compliances, there are two types of product categories when you're selling online. One is gated category, one is ungated category. In simple words, gated category means it will require some or the other compliance. Ungated means it does not require any compliance. So basic products like which which Indian sellers are very good at: textile, apparels, handicrafts. So these are ungated categories. So if you don't require compliance in US, you don't require compliance in UK as well. You don't require compliance in UAE also. So apparels, fashions, and some of the home products, right? They don't require
Mhm.
compliance at all. So basically, what is different from US is if you're selling on Amazon US, Amazon will take care of taxes themselves. You don't need to have a sale tax registration over there. You don't need to file returns and pay taxes. Amazon will collect and pay on its own. But this is only simple headache that you generally come across when you're selling in other countries like UK, UAE, right? So
Mhm.
both of them have a, you can say, a quarterly return. Basically, you have to have a VAT over there. Reason of having a VAT is that since at time of sale, the goods are located in UK and UAE, so you have to get a VAT. So this is the only thing that you need to do. That is a very simple one.
Mhm.
So this should not be a roadblocker for you for entering into UK and UAE where your products are under non-gated category. If
So
I
the
come with,
yeah.
sorry.
So the
So
underlying point is that exporters should actually consult or be aware of if they are capable of, as in accessing the knowledge themselves and they are able to register, they can do it themselves. Else, always speak to the experts whenever you are entering a newer geography, because the tax related compliances or other things can put your business in jeopardy, and there could be penalties and other things that can come up, so your margins can wash out overnight if you are not taking care of these things. So this is very critical that you speak to a professional, take consulting with respect to product compliances, tax compliances, because some of the industries, as Mr. Ravi highlighted, may not need any specific approval, but some of the categories, like there was an attendee who was asking about health and wellness. So in which category your health and wellness products are actually falling? It is falling in pharma, medicinal category, or it is falling into nutraceutical category, or it is the food category. So you may need to be aware of these things to take care of the compliances. Sorry, Avi, I cut you in between. You were
no
saying something.
worries, no worries. So coming on to the gated category, obviously every country will try to protect rights and wellness of their citizens, right? So if any product is non-compliant with any thing, for example, if I take a very easy example, some of the food items in India contain a sugar content, whereas the
Right.
same item in UK don't have a sugar content because it is not for infants. So these compliance should not be taken negatively because each country wants to protect its citizens, right? So if a particular substance is not allowed in a country, so that should not be allowed. So what we can help you out is we help sellers with taxation and product compliances. Whatever product you have, you send us a label, we let you know without any charges, right? It requires compliance or not. If it does not require compliance, then you're good to go. You just need to have your taxes set up, file quarterly returns, and enjoy all the profits that you can, because setting up accounts in other marketplaces give you a wider customer base.
Hmm.
You are earlier limited to only US customer base. You'll expand to other countries. You'll have a more better customer base in this. And one thing you mentioned about pitfalls, like what are the common pitfalls that we see is, firstly is the non-compliance. So earlier in USA, people used to be non-compliant and sell using de minimis. From tomorrow onwards, you can't do that. So firstly, you have to get compliant. Secondly, you have to see that you don't underbill. See, today is a digital age. If you are looking at like this is $1,000 item and I can to avoid tariff, I can ship at 200. No one will get to know. Even customer officers, they also have Amazon app with them. They can
Mhm.
see this is directed to Amazon. So what is the price over there? It is $1,000 and 200. Come here, right? So obviously they can send a bill to the broker, and obviously you have to pay. And there are harsh penalties for that also. And recently I've seen, if you're putting wrong HSN or anything wrong, so there is 40% penalty for that also in US. So second is, don't do underbilling. Third is, some people try to send goods in CSP4 gift mode.
Right.
So this should be avoided, because if you're doing a business, you should be not sending under gift mode. It will only help you avoid some custom duty, but it will have a lot of effects on you afterwards. Not only the US department, even Indian FEMA department, FEMA division will be there.
So
RBI
this,
notices will
yeah,
be there, because ultimately you will be receiving funds against no sales invoice. So this is
correct,
the essence of that.
correct. No, this is very, very critical and important. So we would like to highlight to our attendees also this matter. As in, since inception, BRISKPE has been of the view that if you are receiving money, avoid CSB4. While there is a value which has been defined in the same, customers or exporters have been using the system in a rampant manner, and subsequent compliances could be very painful. In some of the RBI discussions, it was even asked to the banks also, kindly report which all exporters are doing it. So we live in a digital age, And while there are digital tools which are for our benefit, but these digital repositories are available with the regulator. It's not us, it's not you, it is customs, bank, everybody who is reporting what you are getting in terms of money and what you are shipping out. And that's where, when the matching starts happening, it starts causing a lot of issue, even may lead to shutdown of the business. So we should avoid it. At least the known issues we should be aware of. Rather than finding a bypass route, we should fix the issue then and there and find a compliant route to do the business. Then only it will be sustainable and long term. The Staying to the same point, Ravi, since we are talking about digital repository that have been created by the regulator, customs and banks, can digital tools make FEMA, GST, and RBI filings simpler for MSME, or are these tools available?
Yes, to be very honest, gone behind are those days when we did not knew like what were the pending bills, right?
Mhm.
Recently, RBI has enabled a view facility for importers and exporters to see their outstanding bills, right?
Super.
uh, since fintech platforms like BRISKPE and others have evolved, right? So what has happened is you are getting FIRs with you in electronic form. So you need not to chase banks, right? Earlier, we used to hear about that this bill is not outstanding in our portal, IceGate. नहीं bill आ
Right.
रहा, right? So now these issues have resolved because due to digitalization and correct reportings, these issues are getting reduced day by day. So this is a welcome step, and this has also enabled some of the exporters to get GST refunds also, because if everything is aligned, when you ship goods, GST, customs, the payment comes, right? So everything is linked now. So it is a really welcome step that government has worked on these areas, and there is now ease of doing business with respect to these matters.
Understood. So, again, since you spoke about how we are solving the problems, we would like to understand how fintech like us, maybe specifically BriskPay, can help exporters in their growth journey, compliances and other things. And what could be, some of the free advices for us that we should do for exporters?
So, as far as you're doing really nice work, so the main issue, see, I categorize exporter work into two tasks. One is operational procedure, second is
Mhm.
administrative one, these things like. So, if I talk about administrative issues, like they have pending shipping bills that needs to be closed, right? So, this is the one of the major headaches. So, what has happened in current few months, if I say, some banks have stopped opening current account of e-com exporters.
Mhm.
The reason is pending shipping bills that have piled up. So if BRISKPE is offering that facility, right, of
Correct.
EDPMS bills, right? So this is a very welcome step that BRISKPE is doing. So obviously it will reduce the shipping bills, and the exporter, instead of going to RBI office or this ED office, can focus on their businesses, their operations part. So these are the little things that since FIRC is available, I can link it with my shipping bill and I'll get the bills cleared. And second part, the fintech platforms are doing is, earlier I know if you're not doing through fintech, you are spending a lot of amount on conversion fee.
Hmm.
So this is my request to all, that you should be evaluating that what platform gives you what conversion fee, so that these little things matters a lot, right? A small percentage of a big amount you save is money you earned. So keeping in mind the fintech platforms, the convenience, the admin operations that can be reduced, the better conversion, these things should be taken care by the fintech platform.
Thanks, Ravi. And before we get into the question, that was the last question for the webinar. And I see that Q&A section and chat section are flooded with the questions. Before we go over there, we would just like to touch upon few aspects that Ravi highlighted. BRISKPE is a cross-border payments company and it is regulated by RBI. So we have seen in the market a lot of players who do not have license or anything still sell cross-border payment. A lot of overseas company who are not licensed in India still sell the cross-border payment because they are not answerable to an Indian exporter or Indian regulator. So we are a regulated player. Work with us. We offer multiple facilities to the exporters and importers. We are licensed for export and import payments both. Particularly for exporters, we do offer multi-currency accounts in maximum geographies as compared to our peers. You get local collection capability. If your customers want to accept pay you by card, we do offer card collection capability, and we are integrated with PayU and PayPal as well. Some of the high level benefits which nobody in the industry has been offering, and it's been only BRISKPE which is offering, is the instant FIRA. More than 80% payments are settled in less than 24 hours, and the EDPMS closer. So if you have a payment process through us, you can submit the bills to us, for which we have done a lot of regulatory advocacy and got these regulatory changes done, that we as a regulated entity can actually close your shipping bills in partnership with the bank. So that's how we have been operating. We'll move to Q&A, and would be happy that any of the attendees, if they want to connect with us, happy to tell them more about our solution. One of the question is how can we convert this challenge into opportunity? So some of the things, Ravi, you just mentioned, maybe you want to touch upon that again.
So see, challenges का best part पता है क्या है? Only the best one survives, right? So challenges are same for everyone. अगर challenge आया है, many of the sellers will back out, and it will give you edge to prove that you are the best and you will survive. सो मैं अब रिसेंटली एक चीज बताऊंगा, जैसे अभी किसी एक यूरोपियन कंट्री में बैंक गारंटी का क्लॉज आया फॉर नॉन रेजिडेंट्स, दैट
Mm-hmm.
इफ यू वांट टू डू बिजनेस एज अ नॉन रेजिडेंट यू शुड हैव अ बैंक गारंटी. तो
Mm-hmm.
वन ऑफ माय वेरी गुड सेलर ही टोल्ड मी लाइक, रवि व्हाट शुड वी डू? मैं कहा सर दिस चैलेंज इज फॉर ऑल ना. कहते हाँ. मैं कहा दिस इन्वॉल्व्स अ 50,000 फी. कहता हाँ. मैं कहा डू इट ना, बाकी बैकआउट करेंगे ऑब्वियसली इट विल बी अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर यू. सो दिस इज हाउ चैलेंजेस बिकम एन अपॉर्चुनिटी. सो दिस इज द बेस्ट टाइम फॉर यू. जस्ट यू हैव टू fasten the seat belts and wait patiently like we started.
Fantastic. That's the best response this question could have got. Next question is from Shreya Chakrabarti. What tariff regulations, political factors, and trade policies could potentially impact the export of food products such as rice, pulses, and spices to the USA? Additionally, what proactive step can exporters take to successfully enter the US market, and how can one access or build a reliable list of food importers in the USA for this type of agri-food business? You
So
want to take that?
break that question. So multiple
Okay.
questions are there,
So,
right?
what tariff regulation, political factors, and trade policies could potentially impact the export of food products?
So see, there are two types of policies. One is banning any product, right? Not allowing it, and second is increasing tariff that has already occurred. So rice being one of the food item that has a good market in US, I don't see any other political issue in selling rice over there. Obviously rice cost will increase, so I see it as a temporary effect tariff, so it will sooner or later decrease. So I don't see foresee any issue in selling rice over there.
Okay. The second part of the question is I'll try to summarize the same. Uh, how can one access US market and build a reliable list of food importers? So essentially the question is about getting more and more buyers from there.
So, as I told, one aspect is list yourself on marketplaces, right? Because what happens is, until unless have a good brand, right, people won't identify you. So, initially for brand building, you should be selling on marketplaces, build a good brand value, get your trademark done, because trademark ही आपकी पहचान है. People will identify you based on your trademarks only. build that reputation, and then create a demand for your products so that you get a good margin and you're not affected by these tariff issues and other issues.
Thanks, Ravi, for that. And another question is, again, we briefly touched on the same. If we are a manufacturer, then we can move our plant. But what if we are distributor or reseller? What can we do in this case?
See, as I told, like you have to identify item that will have a good margin.
Mhm.
If you are a reseller with a small margin, you should be starting exploring other markets because there is no solution to this tariff unless until it is withdrawn.
Thanks for that straightforward answer. Sometimes we have to bite the hard bullet, and that's the reality. Next question is, I'm an Amazon. So Mr. Sanjeev is asking, I'm an Amazon seller and selling through FBA. What about Canada? Currently, Amazon fulfills Canada order. Let's assume I sent to FBA Canada. What will be the cost?
So for this, you can get in touch with us. You can share us our email ID and phone number. So what we are helping is we are helping seller with taxation and product compliances. For some of the products, we can help you with the product compliance also. We can do the taxation part. So you have to only focus on your operations part, sending a shipment to Canada and getting revenue over there.
Thank you. Another attendee says, if EDPMS closure process is offered by BRISKPE, will there be any charges? Yes, there are charges applicable and there are no markups. It is a pass-through cost. What banks offer, we do pass it on to you. And again, depending on the bill value, it is varying. So you can touch base on our info channel or on our WhatsApp number. Our customer service representative will highlight the same to you. Urvesh Almal says, I missed on joining this webinar on time. Can we get the recording? Sure. Our marketing team will release the recording of the same. Vishal Lakhani says, I'm doing business in eBay. How BRISKPE will be helpful for closing my shipping bills if I do business in CSB5? See, we are not listed on eBay right now, and we can only process the payments as in we can only close the bills for payments that are processed by us. In this case, I would request you to push your eBay manager to integrate with us. We have been asking for long, but unfortunately, the platform is only listing the couple of US players, not Indian players. What new compliances will be implemented on the beauty and personal product after the increase in tariff?
See, there is no increase in compliance. Whatever was there is there. Only the thing is, if you were below de minimis earlier, and now there's no de minimis, so you have to get it complied. Simple it is. You have to get compliance done under FDA for food, drugs. If your cosmetics, then mocker compliance is there. So we are doing this compliance since long. So you can get in touch with us for any issue. So there's no increase in compliance as such. जो पहले थी वही है. So that is it.
Okay, next question is from Kevin Harrow. After tariff, how to match inward with shipping bill value? Because पैसा कुछ भी आ रहा है, shipping bill कुछ भी बन रहा है. So how do we match it and closer about EBRC?
So a very relevant question in this context. So what you need to do is you need to do a back calculation. See, the tariffs and other issues, other things will affect your cost, right? And for bill closure, you have to match sales and proceeds. It has nothing to do with the cost, right? So initially, what you need to say is, suppose I am getting realization of $400. So if your shipping bill is roughly, I can say 300 to 400, then you're okay because there is a relaxation of 25% of shipping bill वैल्यू. तो अगर आपको $400 के अगेंस्ट 400, सॉरी मैं रिवर्स कर दिया, $400 की बिल के अगेंस्ट 300 भी आ जाता है, यू कैन राइट इट ऑफ, राइट, आपका वो क्लोजर हो जाएगा.
Hmm.
और सपोज कुछ फ्लक्चुएशन रहती है बिकॉज वी कैनॉट गारंटी कि इतने का सामान बिकेगा, वो आप नेक्स्ट शिपिंग बिल से एडजस्ट हो जाता है बिकॉज देयर इज नो फैसिलिटी कि आप मल्टीपल शिपिंग बिल्स अगेंस्ट मल्टीपल पेमेंट्स यू कैन मैच दैट. तो वो फैसिलिटी है, तो वी कैन गेट इन टच फॉर एनी इशू रिगार्डिंग बिल रिकंसिलिएशन।
Thanks, Ravi. And one more thing I would like to highlight to Kevin. Specifically, RBI has come up with a couple of exceptions. Post this, I think there is a draft EDPMS closure guideline which is already in place. It should see the formal sign off very soon from the regulator. And as per that, I think up to an amount of 10 lakhs, the declaration based closures are allowed. The write offs amount are pretty much relaxed because of the kind of marketplace model which you are operating into. So that 5%, 25% guidelines should not impact this. Again, the large exporters still have to take care of the same, whose value is upwards of 10 lakh. But up to this amount, it is more on the declaration basis. So there you should have breather pretty soon. Uh, Question from Piyush Joshi. Ravi, if we sell a product on Amazon for $50 realization after ads and FBA, we realize 20, including cost and freight. I consider invoice value $12 product and dollar amount he missed for freight. Does it come under penalty if custom officer sees it's been sold for $50? So
Obviously, this is an issue. So for that, I can give you a tip that he try to eliminate your other expenses through some other mode. For example, you can pay advertisement fee via credit card so that the sales realization is not less, right? So between $50 and $12, there's a big gap. See, what happens is, FBA fees or storage fees is there, and the customer officer also knows this is there, right? So this is a reasonable explanation. If you are getting deducted for the storage fee and FBA fees, it is reasonable. But if you are getting slightly more than what is billed, so it will be considered underbilling. Additional custom duty will also apply, penalty may also apply. So I don't recommend that, and try to have a back calculation set your pricing strategy in a manner, prepare a cost sheet, like these will be the deductions. These things you can control. Things beyond your control, I also agree. For example, if item is not getting sold, you have to liquidate that. So that is a practical scenario in which you will get a lesser amount, but that is based on a documentary evidence. Like this has actually been sold at lesser price. So don't get into hanky panky things to just avoid custom duty. So this is what I can guide you there. Yeah.
thank you. Next question is, suppose the tariff fiasco continues, will it impact service industry based exports like IT, ITS, etc.? Maybe I'll answer that. See, again, if you talk about IT, ITS, etc., again, it's more of an arm twisting that is happening right now to, of course, get the benefit for US by the US government. There is a least likely, as in very less possibility that it is gonna be applied, or tariffs are gonna be applied on IT, ITS sector. However, even if it is applied, the challenges would be very less, because if you see the way IT industry is structured, platform based sales are there, wherein platforms are already outside India. So identification of the service is very difficult by the US. Second, if there are IT companies, there are two types of offsite export, onsite export, both are happening. So in case of offsite export, again, changing the jurisdiction is not very difficult. Changing the base is not very difficult. And no certificate of origin equivalent exists over there, right? It's a brain which may be situated anywhere in the world, which is working on the codes, working on the development of software. So identification of India originated software or service becomes very difficult technically, until or unless the laws are made so and so stringent. It will eventually impact their own homegrown industries more than us. So less likely that this sector will be touched, but even if it is touched, there are legal routes around the same which can actually bypass the challenges. EDPMS closure charges, Pradeep will request you to get in touch with our team based on volumes and value of shipment bill. We will communicate the same to you. Anonymous attendee, I wish to understand how would the US customs derive the product value of the goods that are exported to the USA from India, how will they know whether they are under invoiced or not? So I think Ravi just mentioned that customs authorities do have access to platform, and what you have declared, undermining custom authorities' rights and knowledge would not be the right thing. Ravi, you
Further, further, there are many other sellers also selling.
yeah,
So they can know but with the way of HSN codes that we mentioned on invoices, like what is the average price. So they have all the statistic with them. So we can't outsmart them.
yeah. I think Aziz Riaz has also asked the same question. Uh, that is an end to all the questions that were raised in the Q&A box. With this, we have completed the time for our webinar. It was 3 to 4. I would thank you again, Ravi, for joining this webinar and giving so deep insights to our exporter community who are having challenges in terms of handling the current shipments in hand or future growth. I would request attendees to touch base with Ravi from Purushottam and Associate. If you have any more queries and questions, they will give you the professional advice as per their internal process. And if you have any challenges related to payment, speak to us, speak to our team. We'll be happy to facilitate the same. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you, Indraji. Thank you everyone for joining. Please.
Thank you.